Hi, welcome to RCSP Florida. A few weeks ago I posted a video about dropping my Sony FE100 to 400mm G-Master lens right off my A7R III. Well, I have been through the entire process of dealing with Sony and Precision Camera to repair the lens that fell right off my camera the July 4th weekend while I was at Sweetwater Wetlands Park in Gainesville, Florida. As I told you then, I was taking the camera off the tripod and getting it ready to put it back in my lockbox. I had accidentally pressed the release button for the lens and didn't know it. I'll get into this later, but it was real easy to press the button and release the lens. Way too easy in my opinion. When I loosened the tripod collar to move it up on top of the lens to get it in my box, the lens just fell right off the camera. Even with the tripod collar loosened, it was still enough force to rotate the lens and drop it right off the camera. That was a very bad day. Okay, so how did Sony and Precision Camera do with the repair? Their policy is to repair it in 7 to 10 business days. They do not tell you that these 7 to 10 business days are only valid if they have the parts in stock. After waiting for over a week, I got an email saying the repair was delayed because they had to order parts. I called and talked with Christy, who was very nice by the way, to find out how much of a delay there was going to be. She told me she would take another 7 to 10 business days. So now we are looking at almost a month to repair the lens. I explained to Christy that this was my primary lens for shooting wildlife and that I was a wildlife photographer. So I was out of business until I got my lens back. She told me she would check to see if she could speed up the parts and repair and get it back to me sooner. Well, she did exactly that. She called me back a couple of days later and told me the lens would ship that week, which it did, and I received it a couple of days later. Understand, I came from the Canon world where I was a member of CPS, which is Canon Professional Services, for years so I could get a turnaround in 3 days or a loaner if it took longer. I do not have enough Sony gear to join their professional services group like I did with Canon, so I sent my lens in for repair just like anybody else. So based on this, how do I think they did? First off, let me say that both Sony and Precision Camera employees were extremely nice and professional. I received great treatment, and I think Christy went above and beyond to try and help me, and she did. Even though it seemed like forever to me, I have to be realistic and say I think they did a pretty good job. Next, how was the repair when I got the lens back? This was one of my main concerns. I am happy to say that the lens works perfectly so far, and I am happy with the repair. Actually, it is better than it was new as far as the flange goes. This new flange is way tighter like the original one should have been. Because of this, the lens is harder to put on, but when you get it on, it's not likely to come off by accident. The release button is even harder to push with this new flange than it was with the original one. Whether Sony changed it to help prevent this from happening again, I can't tell you, but this flange is way better than the first one. If I had this flange on the original lens, this would not have happened. I hope Sony did change it so nobody else has this happen to them. It is a real bummer for sure. Okay, what about cost? Well, it was not cheap. The repair itself cost $766, including the return shipping, which was $45. It cost me another $131 to ship and insure the lens for $2,500 via UPS. I'm sure the Precision Camera is most likely self-insured, so that will explain why it cost me so much more for shipping and insurance. The only complaint I have is that they did not require me to sign for the lens when it was returned. They just put it at my front door. I made sure I was there just in case, but I was surprised a signature was not required for delivery of a $2,500 lens. I certainly had to sign for the lens when I received it from Adorama, as I would expect, but I didn't for the repair. So, bottom line is, it cost me right at $900 for this accident. However, it could have been a lot worse, and I could have totaled the lens. I still say that Sony is right there with me in being responsible for this accident. The original flange was way too loose on the same camera body, plus, in my opinion, the lens release should be on the other side like Canon, Nikon, and Panasonic, or the release should have some protection from accidental release. The grip is not very big on this camera, and with the FE100 to 400mm GM lens on the camera, there's not much space left for your fingers. If you relax your fingers too much, they can easily hit the release button by accident. However, with the new flange, it is harder to push the release button, and it takes quite a bit more effort to remove the lens. The fact I had contact problems with this brand new lens on several occasions before this happened, causing me to have to reseat the lens to fix it, it should have been a warning as to what could happen. when you get busy taking photographs, you shouldn't have to worry about accidentally releasing your lens and having it fall right off the camera. Bottom line, I have to say I was pleasantly surprised at the level of service I received from both Sony and Precision Camera. Christy was a big help, and I thank her for taking the time to see what she could do to expedite my repair. Overall, I am very pleased at the outcome. I certainly hope this never happens again, because I still think about what I could have bought with that money. I could have bought another lens that I've been looking at, but, I had to pay this bill. So, if you are a Sony a7R III shooter and you have the FE 100 to 400mm GM OSS lens, check your flange tightness when the lens is mounted. If it is loose, be very careful, because this could happen to you. Well, that's it for this video. I would much rather be producing a wildlife video, but I told you I would tell you what happened, and I try to keep my word. No matter what you shoot or shoot with, just get out and shoot. You don't get better watching YouTube videos sitting in your easy chair, but if you do watch YouTube videos, please watch some of mine. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.